So anyway, I only say this because I'm not trying to down on Bieber, but Bieber probably don't own much of a shit. Okay, let's just be honest, right? Um, I'll use I'll use the goat to juxtapose to this, right? Um, Champagne Poppy Drake. One thing, let me tell you this. Another reason why Drake is, and I'm telling you this not because I spoke to him, but just use your fucking brain. The reason why, if y'all don't realize, Drake put out 3 projects in a year. He kept it cool, but he put out 3 projects in a year. He's not putting out, he's gonna spin the story. Yeah, I'm bored. I'm bored in the embassy. I just want to put out music. No, he's trying to run up these checks and get through these deals and renegotiate again. Drake is one of them, and I don't gotta say one of them is, but his paperwork is on point. You feel me? And such is the case, he's renegotiated a bunch of times. Now, if you look at Drake, I can tell you this is a fact. So Drake since 2010, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? From what I hear and based on his negotiation tactics, every Drake mixtape or album has counted for him as an album. So think about how many contracts he's re-upped on. Remember, the way they used to fuck artists over is like, oh, a mixtape is what you do to get hot. Like, because a mixtape used to be you rapping over people's beats, which they couldn't sell. So they'd be like, oh, that doesn't count in your record contract. Right? And obviously that started in the 50 Cent era, this and third, but then these days people put out full projects and they just call it a mixtape. Now your label's gonna be like, oh, that don't count. So you still owe us 2 albums. That's what they've been doing to Meg. Drake has so much leverage that, he made it known, if I'm putting out a fucking project, it's counted as an album. Right? So, this is through the grapevine. He renegotiated before before Nothing Was the Same, which is kind of ill. Right? Remember he dropped So Far Gone, Thank Me Later, Take Care. Renegotiated before Nothing Was the Same. After Nothing Was the Same, dropped If You're Reading This Is Too Late, that counts as an album. Drop Views, that counts as an album. Re-upped again. Drop Scorpion, right? What a Time to Be Alive. My bad. What a Time to Be Alive actually comes before that. What a Time to Be Alive. What's that other shit called? More Life. All counted as albums. And he did a really dope thing. I'm going to show you here. If you want to look at how Drake has done his finessing, look at here, album details, right? You could go to Wiki. This is pretty publicly available. You just got to have, attention to detail. So this was dropped in 2010, right? You're going to notice at first the label, because, he was signed to Young Money, Cash Money, right? Universal Motown was like kind of like the distributor at that point. You're going to realize his label shit keeps changing. Watch. After this point, Republic actually took over. So Take Care is dropped on Young Money, Cash Money. You'll see Republic here. That's the major label, right? Then you're going to start seeing OVO. Very smart thing Drake did. Drake started in his negotiation. He basically, like for example, okay, I'm not trying to make this too technical because I don't want to lose my casual viewers. Whether Kendrick want to say it or not, a lot of the reason ain't because he was writing a fucking album for 5 years. That's why he didn't do it. Contractually, he was getting his shit straight. You get what I mean? And contractually, he was trying to leave TDE. Now, he was trying to build what his new label is called PG Lang. What Drake did was that OVO, he knew he wanted to eventually just be on his own label, but he still want to get funding from like that super major label, which is UMG. But he wants to work OVO into the situation that he could start owning some of his masters. I could imagine Take Care and Thank Me Later, he probably doesn't own the masters of those. Nothing Was the Same. Negotiated, renegotiated, own some of the masters to that. Might even been 10, 20%. Maybe like max 25. You get what I mean? Views happened. Views was a very interesting story. I'm going to tell you why it was an interesting story. Because, let me make sure my timeline is also good. If you look back at UMG, Lil Wayne drops lawsuit, right? So Lil Wayne comes to a settlement you're going to see in 2018. In 2018, right? This is not printed online. I've just learned this through the grapevine. So the lawsuit, essentially, and by the way, tell me, I got to look at the chat because I don't want to bore you. We could get to much more interesting shit. If this is boring, please just spam next topic. It is very perfectly fine. I'm trying to kind of give a little bit of education here, but I'm not trying to fucking bore you out of death type shit. And also, if you're aspiring, musician, if whatever you might want to get in the industry, remember when I said that thing about the old heads? It's kind of like, because how does nobody actually just kind of kick some game that you could be a little bit with a leg up before you walk into like a door? All right. So cool. All right. Thank you, chat, by the way. Thank you for the motivation. All right. So this was a situation with the Lil Wayne lawsuit, right? Lil Wayne basically claimed, I never got residuals. I didn't get all my advances. I missed out on certain shit. I've been killing it. His lawyer and his accountants come up to the figure of $51 million that they're owed, right? Accountant was missing, all type of shit's going crazy. Normally, let me just tell you how, and by the way, I think Birdman pretty much admits this. He said, their accountant was the best. He said it was the first time he ran a label. He kind of took blame for that. The way how many labels do it is kind of like many companies. You know what I mean? Companies, content companies. You have to audit them or they're not going to pay you, right? They're just going to assume that whatever they spent on you is more than what you made. So why even cut you a check? So the only check they cut you is the advance, which is a loan. And they're thinking that you will never recoup versus the loan plus all the expenses they're spending to make the album, promote the album, put the album out, fly you on jets, doing all these things. So they never pay you again, right? This is the reason why Blueface is getting hit in the head with a Henny bottle, right? That's what it is. Like these guys, Blueface probably got like a check of $500,000, $600,000. It's probably half of what he needs for the album, but they're not going to greenlight an album because Blueface is cold, right? So he's not going to get another check. He's not getting no residuals. He probably said, fuck it. Rather than stay here trying to keep performing Moonwalking and Calabasas, which isn't a song, and Tatiana doing all this weird gyration shit, let me just go do something else because the label, this is a business. They're not going to cut you another check until you whatever. So Wayne comes up with a number, 51 million. He sues, right? After he sues, Birdman basically says, I don't even got the money to pay. Now, Birdman ain't broke. Birdman is cashed up. Birdman has a fucking gold toilet. Like, Birdman lives like a fucking king. They got Bugattis, Maybachs you never fucking seen. It's Birdman, okay? So, what ends up happening, he says, I ain't paying. They start beefing because he doesn't even really want to come to see terms with Wayne, right? He's, I ain't paying the shit. Right? He does an Angie Martinez interview, basically says, yo, in reality, yeah, me and my son, we don't get it back together, but 51 million, that nigga tweaking, right? Basically saying he would probably pay less. If you ask me, Birdman ain't trying to pay over $10 million, right? Cool. It goes on, it's going through courts. They ask for Birdman's motherfucking legal documents. Like the accountant shit, it's all in shambles. Now, what happens is that Young Money, which is owned 51% by Birdman, and Cash Money, which is owned 100% by Birdman and Slim, they're financed by Universal. So in asking all the parties for accounting, they ask Universal for accounting. Universal is realizing this is going to be a big legal thing. They don't really want to get all the way into the shit. They come up with a perfect situation. They said, Birdman, we know you got the fucking money because we used to cut you all them checks. You fucked up, blah, blah. Birdman's probably like, just hand her up, whatever the case is. They tell him, this is how we're going to solve it. We're moving Lil Wayne's contract to Republic, straight to Republic. So we're taking the contract out of your hands. You will get no more cut from what Lil Wayne is doing. Unless he gives you publishing, which that might be some side deal. And we get Nicki and Wayne. Nicki and Drake, and supposedly Tyga, but like Tyga was already out of his shit. So everybody from Young Money goes straight to Republic. So Republic is saying, we're going to pay Wayne this $50 million, but we're paying him this $50 million because now we're absorbing all the profits that Birdman's supposed to make off of them. We just care about keeping the engine going. If we could recover this $50 million off these guys in the next, I don't know, because they could wait 20 years, we're good. And that's how exactly it happened, okay? Birdman don't pay a dime. Universal pay all the money. Wayne contract move up. You know, they still kind of say cash money, like, you know, CMB, you know what I mean? Like the gang, whatever. But it's under Republic. Wayne, Nicki, Drake, right? Cool. You'll notice then, when Drake drops when Drake drops Scorpion, you're gonna start seeing Republic. Well, actually, actually, my timeline's a little bit off. No, this is the last album that is Young Money, Cash Money, right? Because if you look at the time, what is it? June 6th. He turned it in already, even though it's got dropped June 29th. This was the last, and I think he had some ominous bars about his label situation. I don't know if y'all remember. Drake always be rapping about his label situation when it's time to re-up. He had some type of bars about it, but it came out with an imprint here, but it was really a Republic release. Anyway, after that, you're going to notice, what do you drop after Scorpion? We got to go to the mixtapes. So the mixtapes, call it the mixtapes, but you already know what it is. Where's the mixtapes? Dark Lane demo, you're going to see just straight Republic. You don't see Young Money, Cash Money again. So after 2018, you never see Young Money, Cash Money again. Like, it's like Young Money, Cash Money is like a imprint that Birdman owns, but they won't fund it no more type shit. You get what I mean? So everything is just Republic, and that's them making back the money that they paid to Wayne because Birdman they want to pay, right? So they're making some money off Drake, making some money off Nicki, whatever the case is. And what you're also going to realize is that after Scorpion, well, this is not public information, Drake negotiates, and from then on, what's been told to me is that Drake owns at least half of his masters. So Drake got so much leverage now at he could really just not re-sign. He got so much leverage. He owns half of his masters. That's not typical, right? Keep in mind, I told you the Young Boy story. Atlantic did not want to give that nigga none of his masters, but Drake supposedly owns half of his masters here, and he does the new deal, right? Right before he drops CLB. When does CLB drop? It dropped in 2022, right? Where is CLB at? Yeah. All right, 2021. He does a new deal. This is the one for like 500 to 600 million. And I hear he gets even more of his masters. So I don't know what percentage directly, but he owns the majority of his masters for all of these releases. So essentially, not to shit on Bieber, but when Drake sell his shit, you're not getting no. I know Bieber's popular and Bieber got 200. Drake's getting like 2 billion. It's straight hit out the water. And the reason why, I was long-winded to explain it to you. The reason why all this happened is that the pop artists, they don't negotiate or renegotiate as much because they don't drop as much projects. Drake dropped all type of EPs, mixtapes, collab albums, and basically he has the leverage where he could force the label to count them as albums because they're selling amazing. And essentially, they want to keep him happy because if Drake's unhappy, the music business will be in shambles. So now he owns pretty much a good amount of his masters. I don't know what his publishing situation is. I'm pretty sure he's just owning all his publishing unless he got like some wild publishing deal, which I don't think he needs. And whenever he decides to sell, I think that's going to be the $1 billion play. Now, anyway, I said all that to say, and that was long-winded, I'm sorry. It explains, if you take pieces of what I said, Michael Jackson, the estate is nearing a music catalog sale of near $1 billion almost, okay? Actually, let me Michael Jackson estate variety. Now, Michael Jackson did mad sales for his like catalog before. Mad sales, like well, not his catalog, but the there's publishing deals that I believe they did before. Anyway, let me read it. Michael Jackson's estate is in process of selling half of his interest in the legendary's musical catalog in a deal in the $800 million to $900 million range. Sources confirmed to Variety. Also, let me give you the play too, right? I want to give you all the play. Again, this is just music nerd, music business understanding shit. So here's the thing. Like, for example, you might say, why did Future sell, part of his catalog? By the way, YoungBoy did a deal too. You know what I mean? But if you're wondering why Future sold his shit, is that with hip hop artists, again, because you produce music more quickly, or just quickly, if you sold the last 7 projects, in the next 4 years, how many projects do you think Future finna put out? He's probably gonna put out 7 more projects. So again, they look at it as, yeah, maybe I'm lowballing myself if I'm only going to have those 7 projects that you bought, but I'm about to make 7 projects in the next 3-4 years. So, yeah, those are classic songs, but I'm about to get some new classic songs. So that's why hip hop artists are kind of like trying to get on the role of selling shit. But some of these other guys who don't put out music as much, I don't think it works out for them as much like it works out for hip hop artists. Anyway, Michael Jackson's dead though, and I could imagine the family or the estate is just trying to get some money to probably do some other shit. So it says about $1 billion for about half of his interest, and I don't think they have. I don't know how much they have. Look, while details are unclear, sources say that Sony and a possible financial partner are negotiating to acquire 50% of his interest in Jackson's publishing and recorded revenues. That's interesting. This is also interesting because I think Michael Jackson's estate owns somebody else's publishing. Michael Jackson estate owns... Oh, it owns like the Beatles catalog, which is interesting. Something like that. It was sound financial advice that McCartney may have come to regret given on August 14, blah, blah, when Michael Jackson purchased the publishing rights for the vast majority of the Beatles catalog for $47 million. Oh, my God. Like, white people love the Beatles. Anyway, all right, I'm done with the music nerd shit. This is just kind of interesting to know. I hear there's a lot of deals being talked about. Salute to everybody who's collecting bags. Salute to Irv Gotti, who did a good job collecting his bag. Everybody's collecting their bag right now. I'm not sure how long this buying spree is gonna last, but look, see, we hear this. There was a $200 million plus acquisition from Dr. Dre. Yeah, everybody's selling, man. And they had acquired the rights to Taylor Swift's first 6 albums. Remember, that's why Taylor Swift has re-recorded her albums. You get what I mean? Taylor Swift was tight about this. She lost the rights to Scooter Braun, and then Scooter Braun sold that bitch. Anyway, all right, enough of that. Music nerd shit.